Hey there everyone, welcome to a new stream. I hope you're all doing well. I'm myself doing pretty good. We're gonna do another Link Friday today as it is Friday. And next up we're gonna set up Visual Studio Code so that hopefully I can do some development on stream in something decent. For those who were here last time or watched the VOD, you might remember we actually set up Nova. But I was not so happy with Nova. It was not really what I was looking for. And so now we're gonna give Visual Studio Code a try. Everyone's using it, so can't be bad, right? I also thought about using PHP Storm, but that might be a bit too hard on the CPU. Anyway, so I hope everyone's fine on this nice Friday. I got 6 links ready for you guys. Sorry, 7 links. And let's see what they are. Let's get started. All right. So the first one that I have is the Multisweeper. Gonna start off light with a little game. And so Multisweeper, and I shared the link in chat, and for the ones watching the VOD, I'll put the links down in the description, so don't worry. So basically this is Minesweeper. Apparently it's with multiple people. I have no idea because I have not seen that yet. But you can do different kinds of stuff. So you can have maps that are your boards. You have fun stuff. So in the style of PHP and our elephant, you can play an elephant. That's pretty cool. And I see you can invite players. That's new. I didn't know that. It is off screen, so that is pretty annoying. It's probably because I'm in Safari and not many people use Safari these days. So I can click. I already pressed mine. That's great. Love it when that stuff happens. Another mine. Oh, lots of open space. And you die. Hey Acrobatic, what is up? How are you doing? How was your Friday? Oh, so you have to hold your R to restart. That's it's funky. And again, straight on the mine. That's great. There's a mine here somewhere. It's gonna be this one. And you know, all of this is free as well. So yeah, it's a little game you can play when you're feeling bored. All right. You're doing good. You gave a talk to the Russian PHP conference this morning. Chilling out now before I start work. How was your talk and what was it about? What did you talk about? All right. So basically, this game you can just escape and you can start something else. It has different levels. You can even play like the world, which is pretty big. So you can technically play with an entire country. Ta-da! Serverless PHP. Ah, that's a good one. That's interesting. That's interesting. Are the talks going to be somewhere on YouTube later on? Do you happen to know that? All right. So that was Multisweeper. Just a fun little game to start Link Friday off with. And Let's go to the next one. The next one I thought was pretty interesting. It's waking and sleeping. No idea. Hope they'll be on YouTube. I hope so too. Would be interesting to see. So as you can see, with this waking and sleeping stuff, it's actually pretty interesting because it looks at all of the tweets that are being tweeted, and then it maps it to the position on the map, so based on the location of your tweet. And so you can see where people are saying good morning, where they're saying good night, and you can see it goes through 11 UTC right now. You can speed it up, you can like go to a certain date, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's a bit laggy on my side. So they're all mapped in real time. That's interesting. Forked from a project by Catherine Yang. A remix of her project to use 3D globe with day-night lighting. Lighting. You can see the source on glitch. I have never seen glitch actually. It's pretty new. Interesting. So, what is glitch? We're gonna have a look at that after I checked out this. So basically you can see everything within the project apparently with glitch. That's nice. So some CSS, day and night, and then styling. Guess most of the meat is in the JavaScript itself. Oh. So it's in this update duration. So it takes now and in minutes, the hours and the minutes. That is some special documentation. So if the hours and the minutes, so if we're straight on it, it's within this minute. Oh, so it's the text for the duration string. I see. And then you have the tweets, which is funny because you can see their token. So you have morning and night. That's probably for the tweet, the colors of the tweet. And you have some counters, you have duration, the log toggle, and the log itself. Performance that now is the time opened. Instances by type, so you have morning and night, and a theme apparently. So you run the map, you set the token, and it's put inside a Cesium container. I've never heard of Cesium. What is Cesium? That's a platform for the 3D stuff. Okay. All right. Okay. Bring your own data, stream it, and visualize it. So Uber uses it, apparently. Komatsu. Drone deploy. Interesting. Okay. So apparently that's your viewer where you put it on. You give it probably some stuff like what do you want to see and how do you want to see it. And then you get the scene. It does stuff, transforms. Gets the camera with Austin transform. Adds an event listener to that ICRF. Interesting. And on key down, does some other stuff. So where does it put the tweets? Add a tweet. It's a function. It says now and later. Nice point, new point. Okay. Interesting. And it's with Express, router. And you have the views. And that's .pug. What is .pug? That's interesting. Pug extension. Pug.js. It's for rendering JS, and then you can compile it. Interesting. I've never heard of Pug before. First time I heard about it. Interesting. Weren't we on the views? Did it change? Weird. So you see it as a head, and you can include stuff. Title, some meta. Then you say the body starts with a header, div, h1. And you can give it classes. That's pretty interesting to build your HTML. You have a unordered list with different list items, and then the main, which is on the same level as your header. Interesting. I've never seen stuff like this. Oh, and then you have like I didn't see that before, but your list item actually has a link in it. That's probably what this is for. Interesting. That's good. So you cannot see the end file. That would have been embarrassing. And then you also have the app.js. So it gets Twitter, HTTP, and the Express. Path, the logger, server, IO. So the index router. Then it starts setting up. So you have the views. View engine is Pug, so it knows what to do. Adds the logger. You link a cookie parser, all of that. Catch the 404 and forward it to the error handler. Okay. Have it use. Looks at development. The error page. Then the Twitter streaming morning gives you all of these languages. Night does the same thing, but for the night. You start the new Twitter connection with the status is filter morning night. And then socket connects for user, you get the tweets. Interesting. Extended tweet and you get the full text, or you just get the tweet text. If it has a place, then you get the latitude and longitude. Give it the name of the place. I see a lot of console logs, so I'm wondering if you go to the actual project again, if you can see it in the console. So you have your tweet object. Okay. Right, let's, how did we, let's go. Oh. Sometimes this mouse is a bit buggy. I'm not sure why. Inspect element. It is one heavy, so you can get stats. I see stuff happening, but it's not in the console app. Okay. Anyway. I learned something new. Bug.js. Never heard of it. It's interesting. Cool. Alright. Then the next thing I had is, sadly enough, a Medium article. I'm not super thrilled about Medium with their paywall. I get that they need money and stuff, but I think they could have handled it nicely. Anyway, so this is actually pretty interesting. Someone took a old Apple PiSight, which is an old webcam from the old days, and put a Raspberry Pi inside. And you actually don't really see that it's been modified from the outside. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so this is the original PiSight. This is how it was in 2003. So it's not that big. It has some noise and color distortion. Color fingers. Huh. Okay. So you got all of this stuff from inside. Oh, that's interesting. So what did he do? So he removed everything inside and figure out what to put inside. We actually tried to put in different webcams. And then he went for the Raspberry Pi Zero. Because it's only $5. It's cheap. So you have stands. Then the whole plug chain over here from 2003 to 2020. Got some stuff, the case, screws, the outside, and then stuff from the inside that he throws away. The camera cables, and he has different ones. And he did some prototyping. And then the screws. Okay. So he kept everything except the camera module. And every other electronic stuff. And then he created a 3D model. That's interesting. So that actually looks pretty neat. You can see the Raspberry Pi Zero. We actually printed out the outside. Okay. Hook it all up and then apparently you're done. Actually, it's really cool. I'm not someone who plays a lot with Raspberry Pi. Actually, I've never played with Raspberry Pi, but I would love to do that one day as well. But it looks pretty cool. Did a good job. And it's completely open source. And I'll share the link for those of you who are interested in doing the PiSight stuff. If you still have one laying around. That's pretty cool. Next up, the Hashicorp Waypoint. Can't speak anymore. The Waypoint So it's a workflow to build, deploy, and release applications across different environments, any platform. So it's from Hashicorp. It's pretty good. So it's open source. It's also good. To build, deploy, and release applications across any platform. Enables developers to get their applications from development to production in a single file and deploy using a single command. Waypoint up. Supports Kubernetes, HashiCorp Nomad, Amazon ECS, Google Cloud Run, Azure Container Instances, Docker, build packs, and more. Extensible, plugin system build, so it's cool. You get logs, execs, and validate and debug any deployment. Self-hosted, so you have to do it on your own stuff. So actually you do waypoint up and everything starts deploying. So your build, you deploy and release. So we build, use pack, for example, and then use a Docker to build it. Deploy would do it with Kubernetes, and a release would have a load balancer on that one. Interesting. So what are the features? Waypoint up, builds, deploys, and releases your application with a configuration file. And it's stored within the app's code, so it's just on your Git. Everyone pulls in the same thing. So it's the same for everyone. Automatic per app and per deployment URL. You get a waypoint.run URL with a valid TLS. To quickly view your deployed applications and share it with others. You can also execute commands in the context of deployed application using waypoint exec. For example, to open a shell in your app for debugging, database migrations, many other purposes. Also have logs, there's a web UI, and you have different plugins. You already have a list apparently. Different plugins that you can use. For example, for Docker. And you can say use Docker, build Git, and disable interpoint. Interesting. You can also use Netlify. I hope it's readable because I forgot to enlarge it. And this is an example of the workflow. Skip some setup steps. Getting started shows you more. We'll deploy an application to Kubernetes. We'll also create a waypoint.hcl file. So the app is waypoint up. You build will do a Docker. The deploy will do Kubernetes, and the release will do. It's actually the same as what they had above. So they first build stuff, then they deploy. And then you open it to general traffic. So it's always waypoint up and it does all three. So you deploy, you release. But you can also do them separately. Okay. It would be a bit weird if it wasn't separately. And then you get a waypoint.run URL, which has a valid TLS thanks to Let's Encrypt. And it's a free public service. Can be disabled. And you have different versions, so V1, V2, V3. You can go as far as you want. And then there's the logs. And they're always working, but it's not to use to change everything into this logging system. So you still need an external logging if you want to have decent setup for that. Just quick, fast, dirty, get some decent logging for debug purposes. Interesting. And then you have the execute. So here to do the bin, sh. Then you go into the terminal, and then you can do whatever on the server, like cat, the configuration of Nginx. So you can see what is in there. Basically, it just gives you a shell, and it works everywhere. And they made it easy to convert your stuff to Waypoint step by step. Interesting. Not something I think we would use for my clients, but I'm glad to know it's there. If someone needs it, you now have a link to it. It's also a getting started page. You build in, you install it with the platform, initialize it, go into one, init to set up the waypoint, you do up, and boom. A Node.js is there. And you need to run up again to redeploy whenever you do changes. So it's not that it watches what happens and then just automatically updates on the server. And if you do UI, you get the UI. Makes sense. You can also destroy it. Removes everything from the Docker. Alright, that's pretty interesting. Cool. So next up is Doppler. And Doppler is to gather all your environment variables all in one place. So you don't have to go into different stuff. I don't think you have, I don't have the, give me a second, I need to add Chrome to the audio. Safari.
G'day guys, my name is Ryan Blunden, and in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to take Doppler's Universal Secrets Manager from local development to production. So we have our app running here, which takes a phrase and returns a Go-to-Speak translation. Now it's currently configured via a .env file, but to use Doppler instead, the first step is to authenticate our machine so it can retrieve secrets from Doppler's API. It's going to open a browser window where we paste in the auth code automatically copied to our clipboard for us. We name our token, and now we are authenticated. The next step is to create a project. I'm going to call this one Go-to-Speak. Now we can populate our list of secrets. Now the easiest way to do this is to grab the contents of the .env file, paste this into Doppler, and then once we hit save, alrighty, our secrets are in Doppler. This means that we don't now need the .env file, and we also don't need any of the code in config.js which relied on that .env file. Next, we need to configure our environment so it knows which secrets to pull for which project. We do this running Doppler setup, choosing the project and selecting the environment. Now we can run our application. So instead of running npm start, we're now going to run Doppler run npm start. This is going to fetch the latest version of our secrets from Doppler and inject them as environment variables into the Node.js process. Now I want to show you how easy it is to update something in Doppler. Let's say that we want to take port from 3000 and change it to 8080. Once we have saved this in Doppler, to have this show up in our local environment, all we need to do is rerun the Doppler run command, and we can see that the value for port has changed. Okay, so development is looking good. What about production? Typically, you'll already have something up and running, in our case Heroku, and the first step is to export that production config and bring it into Doppler. We have a nifty little one-liner to make it easy to do this in Heroku, and once we grab this JSON, we now head back to Doppler, this time going to the production configuration, and you can see this alert here lets us know that we haven't yet populated the values for our production secrets. So we scroll down, paste this in. Now you'll notice that port is missing, and that's okay because Heroku is actually going to supply that port environment variable at runtime. So we hit save. And fantastic, our production config is now in Doppler. Now because we're using Heroku, we're going to take advantage of the Heroku integration, but Doppler works for any language and platform, and the list of integrations are growing constantly. So with Heroku, all we need to do is select the Heroku app that we want to synchronize our secrets with. Then we select the environment, click Setup Integration. Okay, now what's going to happen, every time we update something in Doppler, it's automatically going to be reflected in Heroku. Let's give this a try. If we head back to our production configuration, let's take the translation suggestion and change it to something new. Let's hit save. And now this translation suggestion will be updated in Heroku, and because the application configuration has changed, Heroku will have automatically restarted our server in the background. So now we should see the brand new translation suggestion coming through. All right, well, in a few minutes, you've seen how easy it is to take Doppler's Universal Secrets Manager from local development to production. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in our other videos.
That's pretty interesting. So you keep everything in one place, which is this Doppler.com stuff, and then based on where you need your stuff, you can just pull the environments off. So no need for a .env file, no need for keeping track of all of that. And I loved how they, like, if you add stuff in the dev, it automatically reflects over the other environments saying, hey, it's not ready, you're not filling in everything. That's pretty interesting. And then you can also apparently see your secrets. You can deploy everywhere. Can also have versions. It's interesting. And what is the pricing? It's free. Unlimited free. Unlimited users, unlimited secrets. But you don't have user access controls? So how can you have unlimited users but not have the access controls? That's a bit weird. But that's free, it's actually pretty interesting. I'm actually gonna add this one for a future stream. We might play around with this one. I also like the previous one, but I forgot which one it was. That was Waypoint. I'm also gonna do this, or at least try it on the stream. Play around with it, see what it does. But not now. So, next thing that I have is the LowLvl Academy. I came across it somewhere this week. And apparently it teaches you how to do network programming, which is very interesting. And you have different kinds of things you can learn. They're still building stuff, but you need to know Rust. Now, I actually do not know how to write Rust. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Fun little animation. So you learn how to work with the UDP and TCP internet protocols in real-world scenarios. You will apply your skills to build small, fun networking applications in Rust right in your browser. And they even give you the link to the Rust book so you can actually quickly learn it. I don't know how quick you learn it. It's still okay. Yeah. So you install Rust up, and then you can measure Rusts. Then you write a hello world. Next, you make a main.rs, and you just do print line hello world. And then you just say that it's a Rust. You need to compile it. I see. And then you just run it. I think it's funny now you have the exclamation mark. Print line hello world. So print line is a macro. Interesting. Interesting. Now this one I'm gonna keep because I also want to check it out myself. And what I'm gonna do is actually I'm also gonna We could actually do this on a stream as well. Like learn Rust together. Could be cool. Could be fun. And at least we learn something new. At least I will learn something new. I hope you will all at least learn something as well, or at least enjoy it. So what can you learn? You can learn number encoding. So how to work with the binary and hexadecimal numbers. Introduction to UDP, sockets, frames, data encoding. So build a client for a simple name server to convert domain names into IP addresses. Interesting. And then fragmentation. Transmit large files by splitting them up into small bits. And then in the future, they're also going to do reliability. So how do you deal with unreliable networks? Routing for larger networks. Server programming to deal with multiple clients, on which you're going to use the name servers from this lesson. TCP stuff, and then web servers and HTTP. That's pretty cool. So they're still building everything. Oof. So they seem to be family, at least if I look at the last name. Images are not super. That's nice. That's really nice. I don't see this a lot where they say like, this is what we use and we're happy we can use them. It's actually interesting to see on how many stuff they rely. But then again, I think if we look at projects we do on our own, it would be somewhat the same, like how many things we use. And interesting. So they also have a blog. Let's see what's on the blog. October 13. It's not that old. Okay, cool. Two days ago. So they're still working on it. That's good. They haven't given up yet. Cool. Very cool. Now the next one is a very interesting one. It's about something we all love to do when we program. And it's all about documentation. Don't we all just love writing documentation? If there's one thing that is an issue in our team right now with the client I'm working with, it's documentation. For some reason, we don't like to take time to document all of the stuff that we're building. We just build it, we do some inline documentation, but actual writing documentation in a wiki, it's very difficult for people. I usually end up doing it for my team, which is fine, as long as they can go ahead and build cool and awesome stuff and enjoy themselves. Then I'm fine with doing the documentation, but it's so weird how difficult people how people are having difficulties with writing documentation. And I get it, right? Like, what is good documentation? Sometimes I write stuff and then 3-4 weeks later I look at it and think I have no idea what I was writing about, and that's actually not good. But so I found this on Twitter. I think they were having a discussion on documentation, And someone shared this, I can't remember who. And it's basically everything about documentation. So the whole explanation, why, best practices, templates, and then they have like continued reading on different stuff. It's pretty cool. You're still working on it. So why must you document your project? People will not use it if your documentation is not good. I think that's mostly for open source software. Because for example, if I don't write documentation for the project I'm working on, it still gets used. It's just annoying for new developers to work on it. Okay, make sure it's easy for people to start before they leave. Valid point, the longer you wait, the harder it is to get back in something. And if you don't have documentation, you'll miss out on a whole class of contributors. So this is mostly this must you document. Why must you is more for open source, apparently. Keep a light-hearted, friendly tone. Keep it brief. Frequent headings. Little over the place. Use code snippets, examples as much as possible. Always helps. Definitely, because actually that's a good one. I'm a very visual learner, as in I need to see an example to understand what is going on. It's one of the reasons why I can usually pick up a project, just look at the source code. Most of the times that's okay for me to start working in it. But I have colleagues who like need documentation and need time to read through stuff. I've seen other people in the past as well. So there are so many different ways in which people learn that the more you can offer, the better, which is why documentation is good as well. And using lots of examples and all of that. Introduce a guide before you dive into technical details. Okay, that's interesting. Describe the functionality for the various files in your project. Use gender-neutral pronouns. Okay. Avoid that they have prior knowledge. Don't use idioms. Don't clutter explanations with overly detailed examples. And of course, don't be offensive. And then you have different templates. But I saw that they have different languages actually. So let's start at looking English. Gotta make the screen a little bit bigger. So you have issue templates, bug report. That's an interesting one. The amount of support tickets that we get that just says, this does not work. It's amazing. Custom issues. Feature requests. Okay, that's actually already interesting to use. Then you have README templates. So minimal, very basic, very minimal. Standard, a hackathon, bot, if you build a bot, and IoT, Internet of Things. So what do they look like? That's pretty minimal. About, set it up, install it, use it. And then the standard is probably... Actually, you see this a lot, right? Like these beautiful images, some, I forgot the name of these things, buttons, They're not really buttons. They're... If someone knows, just put it in chat. I forgot the name. So you have table of contents, again the about, getting started in multiple steps, but also running the tests, usage, deployments, technologies used, whoever is part of the contribution, acknowledgements. That's pretty cool. Then the hackathon. Very curious. Ooh, oh. Wow, it's almost building icons. Yeah, they use icons, but they're not like... I think they're called badges. GitHub badges? Are they called badges? Of course you're gonna get like this stuff. Actually, can I not click one? No, just a link. Because, you know, they keep like counting everything, so it's not just purely an icon. There is something behind it, but I always forget what it is. Actually, if you look at it in raw, yep. So it is the shields and then the badge. So there's something in between that processes all of this. So there's an SVG, you give it a link and it looks probably at the link and gets all the data it needs from it. So the hackathon has your problem statement, the idea and the solution, dependencies, limitations, what you can do in the future because a hackathon is fast going, local environment, usage, technology stack, and kind of the default stuff the other ones had as well. Interesting. So it goes a bit deeper into everything. You have the bot. Demo. How it works. Usage. Getting started, all of that. And the Internet of Things, which is still to do. All right, that's interesting. And then you have like default stuff like to do, just a list of to do items apparently. Though I guess most people will use something else for to dos, you know, Trello, even the GitHub. I think GitHub has like issues, but also a Kanban board itself, so you can add stuff there. Pull request checklist. Contribution file. So how do you contribute? What do you do? Coding guidelines. Code of conduct. It's a bit stuck. Yep. My browser is stuck. That's great. See, voila. Code of conduct. Code base. Structure. Oh, I see. And the changelog. This is actually interesting. We don't use this for our client, but it's something we're missing. And I don't think it's ever too late to add stuff like this. I actually might do it myself, just to make sure. But then, of course, it's the whole who will document what has changed and what we do, and you know, knowing team members, they're not gonna do all of that. Anyway, it's also there in different languages, and you can see they use their own stuff, so that's good. And that was actually the last one of our Link Friday. So with that, we've been streaming an hour, and I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna start setting up Visual Studio Code. If you have suggestions, plugins you think are very useful, things you think I need to have in my Visual Studio Code, feel free to share them, because I'm not starting 100% from scratch, because I did follow something, but that's been like months ago, and that was more for personal use. So I'm just gonna take a quick little break, and as soon as I get back, we'll get started. So get those suggestions ready, and see you in just a bit. All right, I'm back. So, one of the things that I want to do more on stream is development, and for that, of course, I need a decent development environment, so to say. And normally I use PHP Storm, but PHP Storm is kind of annoying on stream because it sucks a lot of CPU for some reason on the Mac. And doing that in combination with streaming, which already takes CPU for the encoding, is going to be a bit harsh on the laptop. It's already, getting pretty warm. And so it's not, I don't think it's a great idea to use. Plus, PHP Storm is like pretty huge. And I want to use something that is much more minimal, I would say. And at this point, it looks like this. So this is my PHP, this is my VS Code at the moment. So there are some things I want to change. I already changed stuff like having my Explorer on the right because I like it more. There was also a good scientific use for it. I actually have that everywhere. I can't remember why it was. But at least, I put it on the right, I kept it there. But what I definitely want to do is make the font sizes bigger, so at least it's readable. At this point, there are also 0 icons, which might be a bit confusing for people. I know it's confusing for me. I'm not always sure what I'm looking at, like SVGs. These are MDs. So I might put that back as well. And then overall, for my terminal, I normally use iTerm 2. And I have some custom stuff, but apparently it doesn't work nice in this one. I also don't want to use the default shell. So I'm gonna have to see if we can do something with this so that it also looks nice on Visual Studio Code. Because I think it's easier for me and more clear for everyone on stream if everything is in one place. Console and the code itself. So those are some of the stuff that I'm going to start with. So as you can see, I did a lot in the these are the current settings. So the activity bar is visible as true. I'm just gonna have to play with it because I don't, something changed on the right side, right? So okay, that's that. Show tabs is true. I rather have tabs. I know I can switch easily with Command Shift F or at least the P and select what I need, but I rather have it there. Then the location is on the right. Status bar visible is false. Let's check what that was. I don't think I really need that. Technically, what you would use it for is you can see that it's on master, but I can see that in my console, so false. Minimap enabled is false. I don't like that. Icon team. I think I have material as well. That's minimal. Or something else. SETI? It doesn't say much, does it? What did we have? Do we have null? No. It does on focus change. There's a hot exit. And there's a zoom level null. So the thing is, it's a bit difficult to do it all with this as settings. So I'm gonna check what I can do with just these settings. File icon T. Let's start with that because that's the most fun thing. At least for me it is. How does it look? That's difficult. Now this is nice. At least now you see what the icons look like. So this is a sketch file. CSS. Angular stuff. Nunjucks. PowerPoints. This thing has everything. Flash, Bitbuckets, Makefiles, Rs, UML, TypeScript, Twig, Vue. I get why most people actually take this. And then you have different folders. Notes, Stack, Stencil, Pipe, PHP stuff, IntelliJ, other, download, CSS. Oh, and then you can actually still change stuff as well. I want something that, you know, it's kind of default. The white is hurting my eyes, Jesus. But that's a whole different discussion. If you want to have like a white or a dark theme, I prefer dark, even though I know it's not that great for the eyes, but this doesn't look too terrible either. There's so many. You can see, well, you probably can't see because it's still very small, but it's like 6 million, 5 million, 1.6 million, 700k, 800k. Let's round it up. So it's like, yes, 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 no. Going down fast. This one actually looks great as well. These are very clean, very simple. I'm just checking which things we use the most so that it's clear what we're using, like a Docker file, git ignore, Markdown for the blog. It has Twig, it has Vue. JSON, but then it looks like PHP has little elephants. That's funny. I still don't know why you cannot see how can you see which one this is? Alright, you know what? Let's install these two. And let's see what we have here. SVGs. They look like a Git tabs. HTML, post, source, CSS, JS. I still like this one the most. There's nothing in data, so that's fine. JSON is this. An MD, but it's a changelog, so it knows info for the README. Config, toml, team toml. I think for chat this one is going to be the most clear, right? And then you have regular stuff for just usual things. So which one am I using now? Because I don't want to material icon theme. That's this one. So this one can uninstall. So that's the least important stuff. Got to start somewhere. Then the color theme, I think I'm gonna keep dark. I just... I don't see much difference. I just don't like to have a very light theme straight in my face. I don't know, chat. What do most of the people here who are watching do? Do you guys do like light themes, dark themes? Let me know. Okay, let's go over the settings. Autosave, font size. That's going to be an important one. I'm just not sure what the perfect font size is. This is 18. So you also use dark American. Okay. This is a bit big for me on my side, but I think a moon theme. I see. I can also use it on iTurn. Can use it on different stuff. Okay. And then what was the other link? That's very colorful. Huh? I think it helps for people to move this one. This one, right? Because technically if I do this, it doesn't open anything. Let's install it. Set it. This thing doesn't have that many stuff, so. So technically, was it this one then? Because it's not. Whenever I click here, it doesn't open anything in Visual Studio Code. It's a bit the weird thing. Don't know why. Because this is new moon. But you also have moon. Ah, I did change. But this is not from the guy that you linked. All right, I'm gonna let's try this for a while and see how it is. So the cursor style, that's all pretty. Yeah, indeed, there are a lot of moon themes. So the text editor, I don't use this. No idea what code lens is. It's indeed more gray and lots of contrasting visuals. What is this code lens? Yep. Color decorations, column section, ignore the empty lines. Peak. That's all stuff I don't really have to worry about. Not at this point. Jesus. How many settings do they have? Cursor stuff, find. I'm just gonna lower it down just a little bit. For me, this is much better. Is this readable on chat? For you on stream, is that okay? Is that weird? Is that... Because I have to look at it in like a very little window to see what my stream is doing. Okay, that's readable. Now I'm not sure where to change the Explorer stuff so that at least that one is font. Workbench. Because at this point, this is not changing, right? So this is bigger, but this stays somewhat the same. And same for actually the terminal. All right. It seems everything, that's right. What does the -1 do? That's weird. Windows zoom level -1. Whoa, that's some serious changing. Actually, I think this one makes it readable for everything, and then I can just lower this one, then it's kind of readable for everything. I think is this better? The only issue is that this also enlarges. That's a bit the annoying part. But as long as it's readable, I think everyone can now read at least what is happening. Okay. Nope. That's not what I wanted. So, the issue with the terminal is that on iTerm, it looks pretty okay, right? So you get like this, and I'll go to Jesus. See, it looks very different here than here. So for example, you have the icon to say like, hey, there is you're on a certain branch. There is you still have a full battery, the duration stuff. There's nothing to commit or push, and this is like some extra stuff that it has. But it's missing the icons here in the Visual Studio Code. The issue is it's been so long since I've set up the iTerm 2 that I'm not entirely sure anymore what was in it. So I think it was Power Man. So Visual Studio Code, terminal, not taking over. Power Man. I know the name is weird, but it's literally like this. Actually, but seeing all of that, can you do like... No. But you can't do... I hate this. As soon as I type, it stops. Mistype and it stops working. So I can change stuff here. Yeah, I could try control space, that's true. So you have a renderer type? Why is it squeaky lined? Expected comma. Ugh. What else do you have? Tom? The thing is, I don't see the icons. That's the rest I don't really care, but it's the icons that are missing. Not sure. It's icons. Haha! So this is the one. But this is in the insider, so not in Interesting. I could give this a try. Indeed, it's maybe not using the font. That's not it. Wait. What font am I using here? The Meslow. Oh, Jesus. That's not it. No. Doesn't autocomplete. God damn. Meslow. GSDZ. Nerd font. Monospace. All right, this is pretty new. You can restart it, but I'm not sure that's gonna help. Nope. It also uses the ligatures. Maybe that's it. What did they say? Oh, is it like this? It's quite different than what I had. But then it says this. And then I have to restart, so. Visual. That's what I want to fix in this stream. Nope, still not working. So can I use fonts in the integrated terminal? Yes, you can specify powerline fonts with the terminal integrated family font setting. Note that you want to specify the font family, non-individual font. Like the Meso LGM DZ regular for powerline. Regular is the specific font name. But that's what I have, right? So terminal integrated font family is my Meslo LG for powerline. And it does wicked stuff, but it's not showing what I wanted to show. Also, my right side is gone. I do have the SDZ. Maybe that is the issue. Now I have at least this back. That's something. Wait, yeah, it's with a comma. Oh, okay. Just remove both then. It's fine. That's still not it. Now this guy says in VS Code it looks automatically fine with the agnoster theme, which is kind of the same like the powerline stuff, but let's see. Stack Overflow, huh? All the way. So he actually adds stuff. Actually, okay. So he says LG SDZ all together. Nerd font. Right. And then I indeed have the correct font. Oh, wait, now it's showing everything. I think we have it. I think it was because it was not between the single bracket thing. That is nice. I keep forgetting. It's different here, right? To do stuff. But he had other stuff as well. But at least now it works nicely. That's good. And then he added this stuff. So external Linux X is iTerm and iTerm.app for the OS X exec. Let's see what that does. If that changes also anything. So terminal. Which one was it? External. So it's not this one. It's definitely not this one. So the control space actually is my dot external dot exec. It says xterm. iTerm. Jesus. So Command D doesn't duplicate stuff? That's also weird. So different. OS X exec iTerm.app. I don't think it changes much, but that's file or directory. It's weird. Anyway, we got it. The terminal is working as I want it to. With all of the nice stuff. That's back search, yeah, of course. So the next thing I feel is weird is that for me, the key settings are not the same as that I'm used to with PHP Storm. I don't know if there's an extension for that. Oh yeah, I use it for this one. Some of these stuff have been like really long time ago. But I also don't use Sublime, so. Is there actually a PHP Storm formatter? Snippets? So this thing formats everything, but that's not what I really need. Just quickly checking if these are the same that I have. Yeah, indeed. I'm also not sure how much I need them, but it's so much easier if wherever you work in is always somewhat like the same. Like this, I use this a lot. The only thing I wonder is they were all supported, right? Yeah, okay. Does it overwrite your Command Shift P? All right, Merke, thank you for joining us today. Have another great yes, it's Friday. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you somewhere this week. So it's this one, right? Yeah, Kaseku. It's also the one that is used the most. You need to do anything special as soon as you have it installed. Install Visual Studio Code. Launch the code from the extension view. Reload. That's it. Okay. Doesn't say reload, so yeah. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if we need anything else. This is already the Git. I'm much more a command line user, so I don't see anything recommended. Here. So Docker. I actually don't work with Docker just yet, but it's something I definitely need to start getting the hang of. So what does this extension do? Makes it easy to build, manage, and deploy containerized applications from Visual Studio Code. Also provides one-click debugging of Node.js, Python, and .NET inside the container. So you have like containers, images, all of that. Yeah. And this is apparently the remote containers. Open any folder or repository inside Docker container and take advantage of full feature set. So what's the difference with this then? Makes it easy to create, manage, and debug containerized applications. And then generating the Docker files, Docker views. Okay. Still don't really know what this one is. Lets you use a Docker container as a full-featured development environment, but isn't that what this one does? Without impacting, yeah. The extension starts or attaches to a development container running a well-defined tool and runtime stack. Workspace files can be mounted into the container from the local file system or copied or cloned into it once the container is running. Extensions are installed and run inside the container. Yes, you then work with this, yeah. But with this, I need the status bar again then. So I would need this. Can we actually do something else with the status bar? So workbench. Great. It's not auto-completing again. Dot status bar. Nope. So you can only set it smaller, bigger. I'm not sure about this one yet. I want to see what this actually does. Well, there's no Docker running, so... I think that makes sense, no? Okay. Extensions. Can you actually move it up or down? You can. Nice. I don't need to search manually. What else do they want? Markdown lint. To encourage standards and consistency for markdown files. It's interesting. All right. I think we're about done. I think with this I can work. And I hope you guys can enjoy. So what I'm gonna do, we're just at just under 2 hours. I'm gonna take another quick break and get some water, stretch my legs. So feel free to do the same. And then I'll be back in a few minutes. And I'm not sure what to do next because I have everything now set up. The console works. That was my main priority, to get everything decent and set up and make sure everyone can read it. We'll probably work on the site a little bit more. One of the things I want to change is that we're on master. I want to make it main. I've already set up GitHub to be default main, but I haven't gotten around to changing my existing stuff yet. That means we'll also have to change stuff in Netlify, if I'm not mistaken. But let's first take that quick break, and I'll see you back in a few. And we're back. Hope everyone had a chance to stretch their legs. So, to recap what we did over the past 2 hours, we went through linkFriday, which means we saw 7 different types of interesting technology-based stuff. All the links are in the chat, and you can rewatch the VOD if you missed it, so you can get them as well. We then started setting up Visual Studio Code. So I started out with Nova first, but that was not that great to work with. And so we fixed that it looks nice, that it's readable, that it has big enough font size for the stream. Fixed the terminal. And actually what I want to do is maybe for the terminal, I'm gonna share the screen again. So open settings for the terminal. Thought it would autocomplete, but it doesn't. But that's fine. What is happening? Maybe I should also up terminal.external. No, it's actually integrated. Font size. It's now 12. 14 might be a bit too big. There we go. So the font size of that is now a bit bigger as well. And maybe I can do the same for this one. I hope this is fine. Everyone can see what is happening. But at least now it's a bit bigger. All right. So far, all of the settings. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change something that has been spoken of a long time. I'm still running my personal website on master. And so I'm going to change it to branch. The thing is, I would expect you just create a branch called main and then you push it and you set it as the main. So it's actually just that simple. We just move and we push the origin main. So give branch move master to main. It's first master, right? Then main, yes. And then you do git push u origin main. So git push u origin. Is it with a slash? No, main. Okay. So that's fine, right? We have it set up, easy peasy, but I have to check two things. GitHub. GitHub. This one. Settings. There's so much set up here, that's weird. Anyway, branches, I guess it's here. The default branch is considered the base branch, blah, blah. Main update. There we go. It's already up to date. Now, the other thing we have to change is actually our netlify. All right. So, indeed have this one. And it's been a while, so I have to check where I had to change it, but I think it's site settings. Build and deploy. Deploy contacts, edit. Production branch is main. Save. Deploys. This one was October 16th, so that was last week. So now, of course, we need to know that it works. The thing is, where am I gonna change something that I know it works? That is the question, right? We're just gonna do. Okay. So I pushed. Gonna do read more so that we can see that here we will have this exclamation mark at the end. Checking the deploys. Building. Okay, that's good. So it's now setting up that it's taking my main branch. The plays for main are published automatically. And it should be published. There we go. All right. So that means now we have everything set up for main. It's actually so funny how many things there are in technically it doesn't need a wiki. If you see an issue, sure, but wikis. Do I need a project board? Not really. It's already much better. Keeping it clean, focused. All right. Let me quickly check my to-do list. So. Oh, it wasn't even on my to-do list. That's even more funny. Okay, so one of the things I have for the site is that if you go anywhere and you change it, then you get this. That's not very nice, is it? So I'm gonna open up a new terminal. Oh, I thought I did. Oh, so now it's running a task and it doesn't do the history. Interesting, and that's probably because of the IntelliJ, right? But that's weird because as soon as you're in the terminal, it normally knows, but doesn't mind. Hugo server -d. Localhost 1313. There we go. And then as soon as we go to somewhere, whatever, it get here I get even something different, right? I'm not sure how it is if you go into post. So here I technically get like a very ugly page. A very ugly page. Now, it's been a while since I've worked with Hugo. Hugo. Actually, this can go. I don't know why this is still here. Nova. Let's use Nova. And it shouldn't be part. No, it's not part of the. All right. So what we have, the goal is to first make something that works, and as soon as we have that, where everything that I want to have is in there, the goal is to write my own theme for Hugo. But at this point, I'm just using Ananke, and I'm just adding or changing whatever I need to change. That's fine. So now the only thing I need to check is how to set up the 404 in Hugo. Because I actually have no idea. And then there are other stuff I have to change, but the 404 will be the first one we'll do. So, Hugo. Documentation. Custom 404 page. Using Hugo with GitHub Pages, you can provide your own template for custom 404 page by creating a 404 template file in your layouts folder. When Hugo generates your site, will be placed in the root. 404 page will have all the regular page variables available to use in the templates. In addition to the standard page variables, the 404 has access to all site content accessible from pages. 404, this is a very basic HTML 404. Go home. Can be set to load automatically when a visitor enters a mistake dependent on the web serving environment you are using. For example, GitHub Pages, automatic. Apache, Nginx, Amazon, Netlify, add to content redirects. This is the one that I need. because we're using Netlify. Okay. So first I need to do this, right? So I add star HTML404 to content, and then it just underscore redirects. So that probably means that for whatever, if it gives a 404, send it to the 404.html. That's what I'm guessing it does. Now, in layouts, you can just add new file, 404.html. I'm sorry, guys. I sometimes don't see. Really changes a lot. I can't even rename it anymore because that has changed as well. So the IntelliJ stuff might not be the way to go just yet. Because I noticed that some stuff that I'm already used to here is actually changed. Because this would be actually, yeah. Oh, that's very difficult than just pressing enter. But it's fine for now, we'll see. So, wrong page, man. Let's just see if it works like they say. I still get just regular old this. So what is that with the redirect options? Oh, so this is actually typically something from Netlify, the redirects file. Got it. Yeah, we're in the Netlify docs and that's why it's saying it. Okay, okay. But then how does it work for Hugo server will not automatically load your custom 404, but you could test the appearance of your custom not found page by navigating your browser to 404 HTML. Okay, so test server doesn't do that. I just have to manually go to 404.html. My God, what is up with my typing today? Wrong page, man. Oh, okay, okay. So that makes sense, right? So now we're actually inside the 404. The question is, what do we show in our 404? They also had a very basic go home. That is not how I wanted to show. Okay. Because the title is a 404 page not found. So I'm still, it's been a while, so I'm still struggling with all of this. So these are all overrides, right? So 404 page not found. That's the title. And then this is actually in your main. I have to check how it looks for a different. That would be in theme. So technically we also have the header. No, we don't. I'm still getting used to it again. I have to check, figure out why it was. See, they have actually a 404. So actually, if I remove this one, technically the only reason why it didn't work is because I didn't have the redirect, not the page you were looking for. So now I have the same as that is technically in. I'm gonna change it slightly. We could not find the page you wanted. Keep it simple. You were looking for. All right, and then what I want to do is actually, but then I have to check. Because you can do all these kinds of cool stuff, define header and a partial. So you can add partials. And that's actually what I want to play with page header.html. Where is that page header.html? Okay. So it's not a partial that I'm actually looking for. I'm looking for something else. So if you go to the home page, what do we have here? Recent articles. But this is not that, right? Because this is the list, but I don't want the list, I want. So it is this? if g section count 1. And then what is actually dot content? So this can go right. Nothing. But then I guess if you take all of this, which means also until here, which is the find main. Yeah. So we can just do all right. So your or my 404 would actually, we could not find the page we were looking for. I hate it when it's like this. It does it for everything, so let's keep style. P might not read one of our recent articles. It's technically not right. Or how did they do it in the Hugo site? Because they had a link and it was much cleaner. So much white space here. Not sure why. Because of the measure wide. It's a bit of both, apparently. No. But the thing is, if I change it here, no, it looks very different. Let's just leave it at this. Like I said, I just want functionality to work, and then I'm gonna build my own, hopefully build my own stuff. So add a custom 404 page. Git push. Probably also update the title. Hugo. There we go. Why is it suddenly trying to push me to install a Docker stuff? All right, so it's pushed. all goes well, then I should have custom 404 page. Great, that's another to do done. Cool. Now, there are some other stuff that I still need to do, but one of the main things is if you have a link, and this one is actually perfect for it. If I click on things, it actually opens up in the same window, same tab. Now, I don't want that. I want my site to stay where it is, right? Now, if you go to the, I have to check, right? Content, posts, things. So the way to make links is just the regular MD way. So, brackets and then add stuff, and it nicely works like this. And that's nice. But open links, new tab. Link. It's funny, I can't see what I'm typing here. Tommel? Oh, I said link. Shortcuts for creating links to documents, but that's not what I want. It's not a ref to my own stuff. Links and cross references. So I don't want it to go to generate a hyperlink using ref or relevant markdown. Yes, it just goes to my own stuff. Language version, another output format. Headings of the IDs, that's fine. It's also what I don't want. URL management, ref. There was also part of it in templates, right? I think it was in custom output stuff. Media type. Configure output formats, list, link. That's not the link type I want. Okay, so here you go. Open link in a new tab. Basically, thus, if you want to open your bloc's links in a new tab, which is not support, you'll have to use a custom markdown render hook and add the target blank attribute to a link. So far, so good. But how do you do it? When creating my blog in Hugo, I want to open links in a new tab. In other words, add target blank. By default, an inline style link in Markdown opens in the same tab. Markdown render convenient is not common mark stance compliant. With Black Friday, I could achieve my desired behavior by adding the following configuration to config.toml file. However, this doesn't work anymore. It's default gold mark. Allows for custom templates to render links and images from Markdown. Thus, if you want to open your blog's links in new tabs, which is not supported by default, you'll have to use the custom Markdown render hook to add the target link. Huh. Does the team already have that? So it was in default. No. They don't mess around with anything. So layouts, default. Then it says underscore markup. Underscore. Yes. Markup. Europe. So you have an inline style link in Markdown, such as the files with destination as text and type. The default is link would open and say at the following HTML template or render hook at layouts default markup render link. So let's create a render link. New file. And then we'll just have a look at it in a few minutes. So what we add is a render link will be an H with the href destination, safe URL, with title. If you have a title, then you add title. If string has prefix destination HTTP target blank, text. But I don't use HTTP, I use HTTPS, right? Is that going to be an issue? We could try, right? It opens in a different window. These, however, are posts, so they still open in my own site. That's good. For that, I would have to remove this part. It would just open always in a new blank. But if you're just browsing the site, I think it's fine to not open one tab after another. All right. That's super interesting. So I guess that's also the way that you could build your images to have like a pop-up. Like for now, my images don't do anything. There's no popping up of the images. So open external links in a new tab. And there we go. Another to-do off the list. Just super good, right? Now I'm wondering how much work it would be to say, Hugo, how's it called again? Image lightbox. Adding a single image with plain markdown, no formatting is like this. Yes, true. All right. I'm gonna add a to-do for that. Maybe we'll add indeed a light box for the add a light box. I'm not sure yet. It's something I still have to think about. All right, let's see if it's already deployed. So I go to my site. Things, which is the easiest. It has not deployed yet. Why is it not deployed yet? Yes, it's here. Netlify, tell me why. Open external links in a new tab. Seems that everything is built. And still opening in the same page. That's weird. That's very weird. Why is it not working? It says everything is there. And it works on the local host. See? But it's not working here. Did I add it to the right stuff? Yeah. Default markup, render link. Everything is pushed. Yep. Let me check what's inside the code. So layouts, default, markup, underlink. It's there. So I'm not sure why it's not working. Yeah, it's not working. Hmm. This is weird. Did I just do a build? Crap. I did a build. What version does Hugo have? Just Hugo version? So it's this one. Let's update our local Hugo. Maybe that's the issue. I think I did brew install. Now we wait for the update. I don't get, but it's weird, right? It shouldn't be the upgrade because it works locally, but it doesn't work on Netlify. Maybe that is the issue. So Hugo render link not working on Netlify. Oh. So that could be the issue. So actually our Hugo version didn't move. Oh, moved way up. Okay. So before we go further, let's test again. Refresh. We're in a completely new version now. No, wait, this was still my local, right? Command T, localhost 1313. Yeah. So that still works out of the box pretty well. And then, so someone is saying I should have a netlify.toml file. You can also do it on the dashboard. I don't see where I can do it on the dashboard, to be honest. Site settings? It's just, I don't know. Build and deploy, but I don't see. So I do set that it's Hugo, right? So publish is public. Yes. Build command is Hugo. Yes. And then the Hugo version, this is what I need to add. And I need to add it environment, edit variables, new one, Hugo version. Is this. Save. Now the question is, do I then need to clear cache and deploy site? Uploading. Just have to wait for it to be done. And hopefully that will fix our issue. Deploys, still uploading, published. So now I tell it I'm using the latest and it works. So basically what is happening is that netlify is using an outdated version of Hugo by default, which means that the ones I test on is different from the one I use in production apparently, because netlify changes it. But luckily, netlify is pretty easy. You can just add to the deploy settings the environment and it changes the Hugo where it works with. And now we have a working new tab. And this one should still be, yeah. All right. So we have come to the end of our stream. Quick recap, we had Link Friday. If you missed those and you cannot see them in the chat anymore, I will upload the VOD to my YouTube. Link is in the description below. so you can go there and check them out. We then updated our Visual Studio Code so it is usable to stream and still usable actually to also work like this for smaller stuff. And then we went on to work a little bit with Hugo on my personal website. So we added the 404 page, custom 404 page, and we made it so that links are actually opened in an external, so in a new tab with the target blank instead of always opening in the same tab. And then we had some problems with Netlify because it uses a different Hugo version, but that was solved by setting an environment variable. All right, so this was hopefully also one of the last streams where I have to set up stuff like we've done. I think we're on our third stream now, second or third, and we're doing mainly setup stuff. Next stream, I'm going to look at something that we can continuously develop on, probably more on Hugo and stuff like that. Or I'm gonna check something out where we can do something fun with it, another application. But it's not gonna be set up anymore. It's really gonna be delving into code and figuring stuff out. So that's gonna be fun. Everyone who was here lurking, watching, commenting, chatting, thank you very much. Thank you for the support, love it. And hit that follow button if you haven't yet and you're interested in seeing the next thing. It always helps me and it helps you be notified when I go live next time. Okay, so thank you. See you soon.